Okay, go ahead.
Good afternoon, and blessings, my villagers. It is just so good to have you all on board today. How are you all out there? How are you doing? Fine, I hope, God is good all the time, and all the time He's good.
Yes.
I just want to thank you, thank my crew here, my team, Sheila, producer, Juanita, my advisor, and Norm, my engineer.
Yeah.
I certainly want to thank my co-host, Queen Rose Moore. And I should have attacked the king to Norm. He's always the king.
Yes, Norm is the
for
king.
what he does here for us.
That's right.
And, of course, my youth co-host,
Yes.
Elijah Stephen Shivers.
Yes.
I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank you all out there listening, my villagers. I'm exhausted, y'all. Not physically or spiritually, but mentally. But coming here reinvigorates me.
Yes.
The village, it does that to you, That's why it is extremely important that in these times, we reclaim our village connection.
Absolutely.
Let me just ask you all a question. I've been hearing illogical rhetoric lately, at least what I interpret as illogical. I engage in conversation sometime on my Facebook, and that's occasionally. And the topic from someone this time was, I hate Miss Clinton because she's a racist, but I respect Trump because he's honest and let you know he's a racist. Now, I'm always trying to understand the hidden meaning behind illogical assumptions, unless the assumption can be detrimental to an already brain-damaged people. Now, again, the quote was, I respect Trump because he's honest. He lets you know he's a racist. But I hate Miss Clinton because she is a hidden racist. Grin in your face and do harm behind your back, they say. When I hear statements like that, I'm always thinking they're looking for love in all the wrong places. Then I start making analogies. I use the slave analogy. We were enslaved, There were two types of slave masters. Number one, the one that hanged his slaves occasionally. And number two, the slave master that worked his slaves from dusk to dawn. Neither, it seems to me, had any love for their slaves.
That's right.
But the one was honest and hanged you. Created the word picnic. You know what that means, right? Pick a end. So it was a real celebration around that. Now, I know for myself, had I been in that situation, I would have chosen the latter. Without a doubt, I would have. The one who would work me from dusk to dawn, hoping that I might just catch Harriet Tubman passing by on her way to freedom via the Underground Railroad. As I said before, I don't need their love. I just need I started to say respect, but I think I would just say their consideration. Because that's what I give them. I give them consideration.
Yes.
Do unto others type of thing. No love necessarily involved. Now getting to the business at hand. This honest man, Trump, is metaphorically and figuratively hanging us every day.
Yes.
Since he was sworn in.
Lynch.
Yes, that's the word. He has banned books. He's destroyed services vital to us, services that are vital to us. He's taken away basic necessities from the needy, created a atmosphere of just hatred, unlike anything
Yes.
since Jim Crow.
Yes.
Of course, he was honest enough to declare that before he even stole the election. Yes, I did say it. I said stole the election because that's what it was. You see, that's why I emphasize and quote the scripture, often in my introduction. Hosea 4:6 that said, "My people will perish for lack of knowledge." And I, though, added true knowledge. Because you can get a lot of knowledge, don't necessarily have to be true. Now think about it, where we are at this stage. The Democrats were accused stealing the election in 2020 with no apparent facts or evidence
Right.
or reason.
Right.
But 4 years later, the MAGA crew is accused of stealing the election with apparent evidence and obvious reasons. The evidence are, number one, the perfect crook. Yeah, the perfect crook. Number two, the richest man in the world was involved.
Yes.
Number three, and arguably the most adept, learned KGB person ever. And number four, the white voters who are the majority in this country who believe that Trump could have to take them back to their greatness of white supremacy. And now the reason is Trump would have been looking at jail time and all his money
You
gone.
better believe it.
So he had a reason. Rhyme and reason. Now, if that's not a perfect storm, I don't know what it could be. And to assume that he wouldn't steal an election
That's right.
with everything against him is lunacy. When he declared for 4 years that the 2020 election was stolen,
Yes.
he was using all the tools and then some
Absolutely.
in his little toolbox to undermine, and he did. He was being honest. And the Democrats, oh, Lord, let me talk about them. As they are doing now, acting like imbeciles, allowing this to happen, blaming each other for whatever they perceive went wrong. And, I just heard Van Johnson. I know you all must know him.
Yes, very
The
well.
biggest imposter since Clarence Thomas. And I say that with reverence, though, because I still stand on the fact and the logic that we were stripped and brain dirted when we act in this manner. But he, passing as a Democrat, said, and I quote, "Democrats need to do deeper soul searching and confront hard truth about why they lost in 2024. He went on to say right now, we need to apologize, do you believe that? To the American people that we were part of something that wasn't on the up and up. Now, I'm not quite sure what he means by that.
Yeah.
But he's more worried about misbehaving of Democrats than the Republicans are about the criminal in the White House.
That's right.
See, that's where we are as Democrats. But, you go figure that one out. Of course, Van Johnson was given $1 million by Bezos last year. Remember, by that Amazon head? Last year.
What?
To be the stooge he is. And another one of our so-called Democrats, former President Obama's advisor, Ron Axelrod, I think his name is. I always suspected him. You see, he was part of the crew, I believe, that forced Obama to disown Pastor Jeremiah Wright, one of the greatest human beings of all time.
Yes, he is.
And also forced former President Obama to sit down with that white policeman who had disrespected and harassed them. And what's his name, Doctor? What's that guy out of? He does the ancestral stuff. Can't think of his name right now.
I can't think of his name.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I
You know
know
what I'm
you
talking
mean,
about. He
though.
does the ancestral
Yes,
stuff.
the ancestral
Not that I agree with him because he can be a little off sometimes too. But everything he does. But I'm talking about the respect,
Right.
not the love.
Right.
So again, we are in some serious time. We've just got to stay vigilant and prepared.
Especially after what they did
Yeah.
to the mayor of Newark. Come
Yeah,
on.
because indicative of this, as African people, we managed to chew gum and walk at the same time. So we are here at this podcast. That's why we're here, committed to being part of the gatekeepers, allowing God and our ancestors to move through us directing us back to our greatness.
Yes.
You know, we need more new thinkers who are not afraid to speak unadulterated truth. People like I esteem of the senator, the representative AOL, you know, the lady out of New York. She's just so
yeah.
forward.
What's her name? Jasmine.
No, not the Jasmine.
Not
and
Jasmine.
Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah,
but
she's
this
Jasmine.
AOL is out of New York.
What's her name?
Can't think of her name now.
Yeah.
So messaging so that as our ancestors' brother said, he's the ancestor now, but he used to quote, he say, bring it where the goats can get it. And because the honest races is in the house now.
Yes.
And
yes.
in the word of that same recent ancestor who always asked the question, what are you going to do about it? You know, because Trump, is literally creating havoc.
Yes, he is.
Throughout
yes, he
the
is.
land.
I've never seen such division
Never
in my
seen
life.
it in my life. And he just getting away with, I mean, just doing it with impunity. No hold barred, you know. But I'm going to bring my co-host, Queen Rose Moore, on now and say what say you.
Hey, Village, how are you?
Yes.
Glad to be here in the midst. And we have a pretty good discussion for you today. There's just so much going on. And as Ruby said, what are we going to do about it? It
Yes.
is time and high time. I just want to emphasize that we have to take a stand. There's a line that's being drawn. We have a imbecile leading the country. So you have to be concerned on many fronts.
Yes,
Not
yes.
only our fronts, but most importantly, we have to take care of home. We got to take care of our own, because if we don't do what no one else is doing, and our young people need to be able to see us take the torch from
yes.
Malcolm X and Dr. King and Elrich Cleaver of the Black Panthers and Huey Newton and all those who put their lives on the line.
On the line, yes.
So
you did.
that we can move forward. And we got, as I said, I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah.
This
As Pastor said.
racist, imbecile, idiot in the White House. And the thing about it that makes it so bad, Ruby, is that we are living in an age now where they celebrate ignorance.
Celebrate it. Oh, yeah.
Celebrate ignorance. And that's why we have to take a stand, because we have to point it out to our young people and those who come behind us. There's something I want to cite that will give you an idea of what I mean of how important it is. And then I'm going to introduce this fantastic young man we have here. I've always been true to my blackness. I've always been an activist. I've always tried to stand for what was right, because it is we have to remember that we have a generation coming behind us, and they have to pick up the torch. What are we leaving them to forge ahead with? We have to think about those things. So I learned this a long time ago, and I just want to share it with you. It says, let all who come behind me find me faithful. Let the fire of my desire light their way. Let the footprints that we leave inspire them to believe that the life we lead led them to obey. Let all who come behind us find us faithful. Faithful to our people, faithful to our generation, faithful to our children, faithful to the legacy of those who put their lives on the line for generation upon generation, not all the way to Harriet Tubman, who put their lives on the line that we might move our people forward. We got a job that is unfinished, and we got a job that is big, and we have to. I can't stress this enough. This is what this podcast is about.
Yeah.
Bringing all those who are specialists in the field that have taken up the torch in whatever specialties they have. If you know any, invite them. We need to hear what they have, because we have many gifts. And we want to share the experts in those fields so that our children have a light and a path to follow. And on that note, I am so proud to be able to be the director taking over for the old director that is no longer with us, but the legacy lives on.
Oh, lives
I
on, for
cannot
sure.
wear her shoes, but I can certainly
Step right in 'em.
walk in her spirit
Yes.
for what we are trying to do with the young people at this forecast. And without further ado, I am awfully proud, sorely proud, as I know you must
Oh,
be,
very.
to introduce Elijah Shivers. Take it away, Elijah.
Habari Gani. That's Swahili for how are you? I'm Elijah, your youth co-host for U Alfia, which stands for Unapologetic Amateur Looking for Experts in Africanism. I am here to keep the young people awake. You may call us the woke generation. Since someone is trying to erase our history, of course, that's not going to happen.
Yes.
In this segment, I will introduce my audience to a children book each week, and when I can, bring on a guest who talk to the issue that concerns us. Today, I will read from our first book, Malcolm X, and it is also his birthday today. On February 21st, 1965, Malcolm X was shot and killed. He was only 39 years old, but he had been a spokesman for black people everywhere in the United States. He had made black people proud to be black. He had loved his brothers and sisters, and they had loved themselves because of him. Malcolm's life was never an easy one. His father died when he was a young boy, and Malcolm soon got in trouble when he was a young teenager. He was placed in a detention home. He was in prison by the time he was 20 years old. This story of the life of Malcolm X tells how he changed from being a confused and unhappy young man, a criminal, to being a world-famous, respected, and forceful leader of his people. And what I want to leave you with are the 7 principles of Kwanzaa created by Dr. Ron Karanga to serve as a guide to bring us back to our greatness. Nguzu Saba, 7 principles. Umoja is unity. Kujichagulia, self-determination. Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Ujama, cooperative economics. Nia, purpose. Kuumba, creativity. Imani, faith.
Okay, that was excellent. Now, the interesting thing is, I'm excited about all that he has planned. I want to know from you, Elijah. Have you introduced any of that to your young folks, or how are they feeling about what you're doing?
They're very enthusiastic in it. They like it. They enjoy it.
Oh yeah, you think you're gonna bring them on? They're gonna be listening. You think any of them out there now listening to you?
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully, we need them to contribute.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All the gifts that we share, we want to get it started
Yeah,
as early as possible, them showcasing their gifts
yeah,
and encouraging others.
yeah. Now I heard you mention that you will be introducing books, the children books, to them. Have you gotten any books, or you need folks to donate books, or where you gonna get your books from?
Yeah, we do have books, but we are always looking for books to be donated and contributed.
Oh, okay. We certainly would do that. Y'all heard that out there, villagers, right? If you got any books, children books, you may want to just donate to us. Just send them on, because we'll bring them on and let you hear, let them read them, or our co-hosts read them to you,
Yes.
and we'll discuss them, because that's what it's all about. Because actually, they are literally, as we speak, taking our books away.
Yes,
from us.
yes,
They're doing
yes,
that.
yes.
It's no joke.
I heard they're going through the Library of Congress. That is the
Mhm.
plan.
This honest man,
Yeah.
honest man,
Yeah.
I tell you, he's
They're
very
going
honest
through the
now.
Library of Congress. And the thing that gets me, Ruby, maybe you can answer this. Why is he so threatened I was thinking about what you said last podcast, and I was thinking to forget asking their woman what is wrong with
That
them.
is going ongoing. I gotta get to
I'm
that.
asking what is wrong with them
Mhm.
because he is so threatened by us. I thought about his son-in-law, Jared.
Okay.
Jared.
Yeah.
He no longer wants to support Israel. This is what Trump said. Okay. Because
He or his son-in-law. 'Cause
Both
his
of them.
son-in-law is a
is
Jewish
it
person.
right? Exactly.
Uh-huh.
And he got Trump the last time Trump was president. Remember, he got Trump to make Tel Aviv
Right,
the
exactly.
capital. Okay.
Mhm.
No, you don't hear from him now.
Yeah.
And I really believe I'm going to do some research on it, and I'll get back to you, Village, because we don't want any misinformation.
Right.
But I want you all to think about it. He knows who the real Israelites are. Because they say they're Jews and they're occupying Israel, don't make them Israelites.
Yeah.
So I believe he's on this campaign to try to wipe out everything black. Why? To hide the truth that we are the original people of God and we are the
Well,
true
that's a
Israelites.
history, in addition to other parts of our history, that is trying to be wiped out, period.
Right.
In addition to who we are, the history of what we've done, how we have done it, when we have done it, and that is what troubling the majority of the non-African melanated people. They understand probably better than we do, more clear than we, the extent to what they need to go to erase all that. Because if that was ever revealed, then who would they be?
Exactly.
Except they don't know that is not how we would work things.
We would never.
We would include everyone,
Yes.
understanding we
Yes.
are the original.
Yes.
We were
Yes.
treated as such. But they are not sure of that, so they want, and not only they're not true, they just want to be better than
Right,
everybody because they
right.
came in from that perspective.
Exactly.
And as I talked with you last week, I wondered about that. I do, sincerely.
And
I
now
said,
you
well,
got me wondering.
Yeah, I'd say why? Why? Because I noticed that they are sort of different from any other
Yes,
group of men,
yes,
not just
yes.
African men, any other men, any group that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
They generally love women,
Mm-hmm.
men.
Mm-hmm.
They love their children.
Mm-hmm.
They love their whole race
Mm-hmm.
and other people.
Mm-hmm.
These are the only one. And I don't. There's outliers in every group, and there are people who are, criminals in every group. All that we understand that.
Mm-hmm.
To the extent that the majority of people are basically decent people in a
Yes,
group,
yes, yes.
their majority is not. See, that's the switch. That's the difference. The majority of other people are basically decent. Their majority are basically like Trump and the ones that are ruling
Yes,
this country
and
now.
his cohorts.
Yeah, so they are the ones that, and that's what troubles me and bothers me to say we are not understanding that. So
Right.
when I talk about the person like Van Johnson, who would take $1 million to be, the person that he is, and well, he didn't have to take $1 million. He was that before. They just gave him that million. He was, I guess, always that
Well,
way.
they always need a token, probably.
Yeah, but to understand that we have not got to the point where we are seeing it from that perspective. It's the reason that I created the podcast to give us another way of looking at things. We cannot look at ourselves and include us in any kind of senator kind of plot that going on right now. We wouldn't do it. We just wouldn't do it. That's
Right.
not what we do.
Right, right, right,
Our
right.
history does not present us as those kind of people.
No, we're
so
not.
I'm saying when we look at a person, we look at folks, and people assume that you have to always justify. Well, I'm not talking about all whites. I'm not.
Right.
It's not about that. It's
Right.
about the majority of how you. It's the majority of people who's doing what.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And some people really don't want you to even talk about it from that perspective. I know before I came here on this podcast, I was working with a young lady. I won't call any name, but I was working with this young lady who wanted me to host a TV show that she has. Now I've written books. I got 5. Most of them are social commentary books talking about us and our situation. But she said to me before I signed the contract to come on as her host for the show, she said, you can't use the word white. I said, really?
Mm.
As it relates to white folk.
Mm.
I said, well, that's what they are, right? I said, I mean, it's,
That's what they
that's what it's
identify
with.
Mm.
That's the social construct.
Mm.
So she said, no. I said, really? I'm not understanding you. If I can use the word black, I can use the word Hispanic, I can use the word, why can't I use, she said, it may come out to be derogatory. I say, unless it is derogatory, if I don't plan it to be derogatory, it's going to be an identification.
Exactly.
But I said all that to say, I immediately said, no, if that's where we're going, because I know if you can restrict me on that, just the name, then there's other ways you can restrict me.
Right.
I'm not to be restricted, y'all.
Right.
Quite frankly, I'm not to be restricted. I tell it
She's
like it is.
unapologetic.
See, I'm unapologetic. And, they call me, and I'm from the silent generation that don't know how to be quiet on certain issues.
That's right.
See, my forefather wasn't quiet. My ancestors weren't quiet. They did what they had to do to get us to where we are today.
Right.
Not on, my mom will say, on flower beds of ease. No, it was not on flowery beds of ease. It was in a struggle. So I'm going to always be in a true struggle about who we are and whose we are and what direction we need to go in.
That's right.
And if that means calling a spade, or but let me correct that. Maybe calling a snowflake a snowflake.
What did the white man call
Whatever
him?
it is, I'm going to do that.
What did the Indian call him? The white man. What did they call him? Gringo?
Oh, probably a lot of things they should have, but I don't remember.
I know.
It's interesting you would say that. The only negative name that we can remember right off the bat of the name that we call ourselves sometimes, the N-word.
Yes.
That's why I would advise our people, whoever is still using that word, to think about it. Think about we are the only group of people that routinely can call ourselves a negative word and feel good about it.
I'm glad you brought that up because in your book, you have a book that you totally dedicated to the things that we say and more likely the things that are said about us.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you were in church Sunday when you heard Pastor said he was in France. And he went into the barbershop.
Yes.
And the songs that were being played was rap
in their language.
And they were in their language, but the only language that he understood was the
when he
N-word.
heard the word nigger, yes.
And they
I shouldn't even say that on the air.
Right. And they didn't see any, it was not
it was normal, and that's the
normal.
problem. If we have allowed, that's why I love what you did here, your work. We have allowed these things to become normalized to where we're insensitive.
And some of us think it's, and that reminds me again, each time I'm being reminded of something. I'm preparing a children book, y'all. Look out for it. Call me every day if I don't tell you about it, because the way you get these books out on the bestsellers list or whatever is you have to be, even before they are published, you have to talk about them, write about them, call in about them, ask for them. The book I have going to be What's in a Name. What's in a Name, and it's about us using that N-word just arbitrarily, and how the young folks in their place areas, they may throw it out there not knowing that it's a derogatory term.
Right.
Because they've said it's a term of endearment.
A term of endearment.
The book, the illogic of it. So the book I'm writing, What's in a Name, what is the subtitle? I can't even think of my own book right now. What's in a Name? Why shouldn't, that's my last book. What's in a Name? Anyway, it's a book written about children who are out there on the playground playing. And this little kid who always tattled on her brother, the bigger one, she's about 4 years old at this time, tattling on her brother whenever she heard him do something wrong or said something wrong. The subtitle is Must You Tell Everything. Because her name, she got used to the name Must, because whenever she would tattle on her brother, he would say, "Must you tell everything?"
Right.
And she
right.
tattled so much that
Right.
she heard it so much. Must
Right.
you tell everything?
Right.
So one day he used the N word,
Mm.
and she just knew that was unacceptable.
Mhm.
She said, "Well, I told her brother, I'm gonna tell my mother." She said, "Must you tell everything?"
Right.
So she continued to hear that "must you tell everything"
She
to
took it
one
for her
day.
name.
One day when she got ready to go to school, her mom took her to school. Mom was in a hurry, so she couldn't drop her off at the classroom, so she dropped her off at the office.
Mhm.
The principal took her to the classroom.
Mhm.
When she got to the classroom, the teacher asked her name,
Mhm.
and she said, "My name is Must."
Mm.
And the teacher was satisfied with that. Well, Must have a seat here, you know.
Mm.
But in the afternoon, when the mom came to pick her up, she went to the classroom looking for her daughter, her little baby Must. The teacher said, "We don't have a Must here. We don't have a kid here named Must."
Mhm.
And her mom was panicked. She got frantic and was panicked. And she said, "I know she's here because I dropped her off, but I dropped her off in the office, and the principal brought her to the classroom."
Mhm.
The teacher said, "No, we don't have anyone by that name." At that time, Must, Chastity, the name was,
Mhm.
came out from the bathroom or wherever.
Wow.
And her mom was so relieved, so she said, "Wow, there's my daughter, there's my child." And the teacher looked, she said, she said her name was Must.
Yeah. No. Just,
And the mother knew right away where it came from.
right.
She said, "Oh, that's a long story."
Right.
She told the teacher, "I'll tell
Right.
you about it." She said,
Right.
"No, her name is Chastity."
But that goes to show you what
Mm-hmm.
you were saying about the psychological impact
Yes.
that was done to our people mentally. To brain dirty.
Exactly. So when we're doing things that just seem so out of the ordinary, just so unreal, we got to begin to think about it from the point of view we haven't been critiqued in any serious way
Mhm.
as other people have been.
Mhm.
So we will allow ourselves to be the scapegoat, and we start pointing fingers at each other, making statements about we're like crabs in the barrel. And I
Yes.
say in my book, well, we all are in the barrel.
Yeah.
We just don't know it. And when we're trying to get out of the barrel, it's not because we're grabbing onto you to keep you with us. We're trying to get out of the barrel. We just have to hold on to
That's
what
right.
we have to grab
That's
out
right.
to. So there are those kind of nuances that come about that create a different kind of person that we are. And if we
Right.
don't believe that, don't understand that, then we will have to answer some questions sometime for people who say,
Right.
"Well, why are you not in a more progressive than the next person?" See, we don't look beyond our circumstances, and I keep saying that.
Exactly.
Our circumstances show us that we're the least in
right.
this, that, or the other.
Right.
Education.
Well, that's
and
what they project.
yeah.
And,
And we are. We're the least in economics. They make what the latest
Yes, yes.
statistics showed it was 300 to 1 or maybe 5 years ago. Now it's 600
because
to 1.
they block them
They
and
block.
they unlevel. If they
It's
level
an
the
unlevel
playing field,
field. Yeah. But we got to know that. See,
Yeah.
all of us don't know that. You and I
we
know
think
that, and
we're
two other
fall
people
short,
know that.
and we
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, and then we're the least in health because everything wrong with us. Where did they locate us? Where they put us? What they made us eat?
Where the
And all-
factories, the
Yes,
dirty water.
Exactly.
But
There's
we've
reason
overcome all-
behind that.
Yes.
But until we understand the reason,
Yes.
some of us do, as I keep saying, 1, 2, and 3 of us, but the other 90% may not. And those are the one we got to say, and it's much less than 90%. Let's say the other 30% may not.
Mhm.
But those 30% may be the one that prevent us, the Clarence Thomases of the world,
Yes.
the Van Johnsons of
Yes,
the world.
yes,
You know,
yes.
those folks
They
are the
allow
one
it.
that prevent
Yes, yes.
us from moving in the areas that we should
moving
move
forward,
in.
yes.
Exactly. But if we got a situation going where these people are being studied like any other major catastrophe, then we can at least understand and believe that it will be a shorter time to get us where we need to go. We're going to get where we got to go.
Absolutely.
Because the ground have been, we have had our ancestors left the direction for us.
Right.
So we'll fall in their footsteps.
And
But
it's
we
in
need,
our DNA.
Yes, it's in
we
our
just
DNA.
need to project it out. But
Yeah.
that's why we have to have the podcast.
Yes.
That's why we have to have experts and people that specialize to come not only to teach us, to encourage us, because the knowledge is there, the
Yeah.
gift is there.
Yeah.
But like all things, it has to be encouraged.
Yeah,
It has to be
exactly.
encouraged.
And it's going to be. And I think that's what probably this Trump situation is all about. I don't
believe
know that. I just
he
believe.
found out the truth about who we were.
And he had
And
learned
he
that. Mhm.
felt that he was going to, because it was so much greater than
And
he
it may
had
not
realized.
just been him because he's too dumb to find out anything. I
Yeah.
used to use the word
But he
very
found
fast.
out some kind of way.
He hasn't found out. You know, this just didn't start with Trump. Now that's another thing we got.
This
to
is
know.
true. This is
This
true.
is just an ongoing process that
Right.
happened back in the day when what they were Goldwater or the rest
Right,
of them.
right.
They started this Southern strategy type of thing.
Right, right,
They
right.
understood what they needed
To do to keep us down. Right,
So
right.
it's been ongoing. Trump just coming on the bottom end of it and catching on to
Well,
however
he's so
he can
arrogant
catch
and
up.
narcissistic
Right, oh, he
that
just
he
crazy.
needs,
Yeah.
he feels like his legacy would have
Yeah.
to be, I blocked the
Yeah.
race from progressing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
But-
he could.
like
Like,
he
he
could.
even could.
Uh-huh. But it started back then. And each time we make 4 steps forward, they're going to take us 3 steps back
Yes,
if
yes,
they can.
yes, if
so
they
that has been
can.
happening over time. See, this has been a 400-year type of process. And they saw from the time we got over here that they grabbed us out of our homeland, brought us over here, and to cross the Middle Passage, and hoisted us upon those slave blocks,
Yes, yes.
selling us
yes,
to the highest bidder.
Yes, yes.
And then after that, the kind of treatment they put us through, unlike any other human being in the annals of history.
It
And
hurts
the
me to even
difference,
think
yeah,
about
the
it.
difference, and the difference is there have been people, and you hear our folks say, well, there are other folks have been enslaved, and there's people
Not
who
like
gone
us.
through.
Not like us.
because the difference is, and we can use a
Theirs was
specific
bodily.
difference.
Ours
Right.
was psychological.
Right. And more, exactly. But in addition to the psychological damage, they stripped us of what we should be working up on right now. Many of us don't know we came from royalty.
Right.
Many of us don't know we came from folks
And they
who...
took the land.
Yeah.
They took whatever land
Land.
we had.
Many of us don't know that we invented... we were the scientists of the world.
And the doctors
And
of
the
the world, they
doctors of
had
the
no
world.
idea.
They don't know that we are responsible for the pyramids. They don't know that. So if you don't know who you are, sometimes you lose track in where you're trying to go. But if you really know who you are and where
Right.
you come
You
from,
can
you
forge
can kind
ahead.
of feel a little good. So I know I
Yeah.
can do that. I can been
Right,
there, done
right,
that. But if you
exactly.
don't realize that you've been there, done that, you will be reluctant to grab on to anything that's
Right.
great.
That's right,
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So when we get to that point, and we're going to get there.
And we are all great.
Yeah.
That's what our people need to know.
Yes.
No matter where you are in life right now,
Right.
no matter what you're doing, take my word for it
Yes.
and check it out.
Yeah.
Because knowledge is powerful,
Yeah.
but knowledge that is actually used and
Yeah.
tried
Yeah.
is even more powerful.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
just knowing that I think there's a scripture that said, "I have treasure in earthen vessels." God said that. He meant us.
Mm-hmm.
We all have potential for greatness.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry and don't care about what nobody said. Set your eye on the goal and forge to it.
Exactly, and that's why at this advise you, we got some ideas going, and we got some good things coming out.
Yes.
I have created 3 segments to this podcast that you look forward to. We just didn't get them
And I'm
done
excited.
today. I'm excited. I'm sure now with all the social media out and all these things, you see a whole lot of things, because I share a lot what I have on my podcast and or Facebook and all. So what we will do, we're going to each week we come here. We're going to share some of the information that we think are pertinent and extremely important that you make sure you know about and you pass on to your people. Very urgently important. Because there's the information is out there now. There was time we didn't have all this social stuff going on, so we couldn't. We didn't know a lot of things. We didn't see it in the books and whatever. But even with them taking the books, we have information on the YouTube and all that, those places where we can learn things. So one of the segments is about. I think I brought some in last week. I just didn't this week. We're going to share information as I see that fit to be shown and really needed, not just fit, needed to be shown.
Yes, needed.
And in addition, I'm creating an African segment because there's so much going on on the continent now. Great things.
Indeed.
And this one particular young man, I knew I would not bring his name up for it, but he's the king of Burkina Faso. You all look that up, and I'm going to bring it to you next week. Can't think of his name now. But anyways, the king of, when I see my people, I know some of them going to bring it to my attention. Ron, if you have my people on, let me see them, because I know some of them know what I'm talking about. But he's the king of Burkina Faso. He's doing great things. Who is that saying? Terry, I'm watching. Walter, on deck. Wakia Marubi. Okay. Janice Heisel. Janice checking okay, great. From North Carolina. Arturo, what is Trump doing that's affecting you? If you got to ask, then I won't answer.
Yeah, then you don't know.
What Sheila Johnson, Robert Cavenstock on deck, my brother. It's a good question because, but the answer would be, if you are not feeling it yet, then I need not answer because what I say probably wouldn't mean anything to you, But to the extent that what he's doing will not just impact me. I realize that now.
All of us.
It's going to impact even the ones who voted for him. Because from what I understand, I'm not that familiar with the political situations in this country, but I understand most of the poor people are in the red states. We are all suffering. But from what I gather, that most of the poor people who will be affected right away by his cuts and everything are from the red state. Some of those southern states that I know voted for him. So we're just sitting back kind of now looking. I'm not gleefully. I don't want anything bad to happen to anyone. But I know it is going to for the ones who really voted for him. So it's not what I feel about him. It's what he's doing to the country and to what we could be moving forward together. This could be a great country. There's no reason for there to be any kind of the conflict that's going on.
That's what I don't understand.
And so it's not just about me, but it is about what he's doing to generations moving forward.
I just want to address that brother that asked that question. Let me put it this way. A house divided cannot stand.
Yeah.
So what is he doing to the country? He is putting hatred in the country. He is provoking those that built the country. Exactly. No one ever taught this idiot about karma. It's coming back, y'all.
Yeah, very.
And if you're standing next to him, I'm sorry for you. You have to open your eyes. The young man said, we are woke. This is a woke generation. It's time to open our eyes. And this is what we're here to do at this podcast, to help you to open your eyes. Brother, wake up. That's my answer to you.
Yes.
If you don't know what Trump is doing, wake up.
Yeah. And back to our brothers and sisters in Africa. See, it's just not, it's a global thing now. I have always been, I am a Pan-Africanist. Because I believe that what's happening with us over here definitely affect and will impact the ones over there.
Yes.
And of course, we've always been at the mercy of the greed and the corrupt. But that too going to change. And this young brother from Burkina Faso, I'm going to get his name. He is doing great things, and his life is being threatened, and he is just moving in a direction that to liberate Africa from the crooks that have taken over.
They've been raping Africa
raping
from the
Africa, yeah.
beginning.
And we have the resources, unlike any other continent. We are self-sufficient over there. Africa can, on its own, can
Yes.
just live and
Yes.
let live without reaching
Because it's
out
a
for anybody.
continent.
Yeah,
It has
and,
many
and
countries.
it's not just it is a continent, but it's a continent with all kinds
the
of
riches.
resources, all
They've
the resources.
always raped
Uh-huh.
Africa.
And Africa is self-sustaining. They could sustain themselves. We Africans could sustain ourselves, and they understood that. Because what they've been doing, as you said, they've been raping Africa,
The
taking
diamonds,
the resources
the
out
gold.
of Africa and selling the resources back to Africa.
Right.
But this young man said, "No, you're not going to do that anymore.
That's right.
You are going to whatever comes out of our ground, we're
Right.
going to refine them ourselves.
Right.
And once we refine, we then will sell to you, not
Exactly.
taking them out before,
Exactly.
So it's a
Exactly.
lot going on, and you all got to,
This is the time to wake up.
wake up. Be
Wake
in
up.
prayer with them over it. If we can't do no more than pray, that's something we
If
got
we
to do
stand
anyway.
together,
But we got to
people of
stand
color
together.
everywhere.
Yeah, and I
we
think
could
it's
take
going
the world.
exactly. I think it's happening this time.
Yeah,
I
I
think
believe
we're
so.
seeing it. And I think we may, without using the word credit, because I don't want to give him credit for anything, but it might have to give credit to that
Knucklehead in the White
knucklehead
House.
in the White House.
Well, I
To have
really
wakened
truly
us.
believe, if you
Mhm.
really think about it, he came this time ruthless
yeah,
from
Very.
the ballot box. Ruthless
Yes.
after he stole the ballot box.
yeah.
Ruthless. He started in right away, and there was so many things for him to do,
Yeah.
Ruby, as president.
Yeah.
But where did he come?
Yeah.
After our legacy. He
Yeah.
understood one thing.
Yes.
Let me get them down
Yeah.
so that their legacy can't continue.
Exactly.
And I got one thing to say to that, and I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud.
And I think we're saying that it is just such a it was although like I say, when I came on, I said, I'm just depleted, but I feel energized.
Yes.
When I really think about it seriously, to think of what we have gone through. So to know that and when I say we can chew gum and walk at the same time, I mean that seriously, because although we are going through issues, but we know how to liberate ourselves.
Yes,
and that's
absolutely.
what we're doing.
They don't
Yeah.
want us to come together because they
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
How
know very
powerful
well
we'll
how
be.
powerful
Yeah.
we are, and because I'm so proud of the young people that we have coming aboard now.
I
So
am
you
too.
villagers out there, just keep us in your prayers. Keep our young people in your prayers, because they're doing great things. Not only are we have a homeschool that they come to once a week and study with Miss Rose here. I call her Queen Rose. They study. They're studying about themselves. They're studying who they are, whose they are,
Absolutely.
what they did, how they've done it, what has been taken away from us, why we're in the position we're in now. So they're just studying about themselves. We're very proud of Williams ACAP. That's
Yeah.
Williams Aquivalon Academy Cultural Center of Plainfield.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're trying to do, the same as what we've done when we brought this young man on, my
Elijah.
grandson, my great-grandson, Elijah Stephen Shivers. I'm very proud of him because he's doing very well where he is. He's at the Obama High School, doing very well. And but he's going to be our front for our young people
Yeah.
to know that we're serious about you. We're thinking about you.
Yes.
When we read these stats on the mental condition of our
Yes,
young folk
yes.
last week, it just blew my mind.
Yes,
I
me
knew
too.
we was in trouble, but I never knew it was that deep.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
what it shows is that we need to reach out to our young people. We need to find out what's happening to the extent that we can. Again, I'm back to the place where I said we going to have experts in Africanism,
Right.
the same as with any other
Right.
thing that going on in the lives of people. We're going to have that for them to study us seriously. But to the extent that I can surmise, that I can guess, that I can see what I see, I'm going to say we'll do little part we can do here. We're going to bring our young people on. We're going to teach them the history. We're going to try to restructure what they have been seeing in these rap records.
Yes,
I'm not
definitely.
shading anybody, but I do know that there was a period in our history when the rap record was very
Yes,
positive.
very, yeah.
But now I just don't agree with the language, the N word and the B word, and all those kind of things. We don't have to do that. Other folk don't do that in their music,
Right.
so we don't have to do that
We
either.
need to bring on an emergence, a re-emergence of the new generation of the last poets.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
They were indeed the last. They told it like it was,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And they tried to enlighten you through their
Yeah.
poetry
Yeah.
and their music.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of young rappers out
Oh
there.
yeah, there are. How
So
about
if-
the one? They're
We're
not
gonna
like
find
us.
'em.
They're not like us.
They're not like us.
Yeah, what's his name?
Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar.
But you know what? We're
And
going to have
others.
it this summer. This
Yeah.
summer to
Yeah.
make sure you tune in. Make
Yeah.
sure you have young people tune in while they're
Yes.
home from school.
Yeah.
Because we want them not only to tune in, we want them to join in.
Join in.
Join
We want
in.
them some place to express themselves.
Yes.
To tell us what it is
Yes.
on their minds that
Yes.
we need to hear.
We want to
need
give
know
them a
about.
platform.
Yes.
So
yes.
let them know.
Yes, so this is what it is, and we're going to be doing this every week. And I just want to make sure that y'all know I didn't bring my paper with me, and I know my what's her name, Sheila, my producer. Ruby, why don't you have the paper with you every day? And I don't. I knows I don't. But to the extent that you all know what I'm getting ready to say, if you like this show, make sure you support us.
Yes.
Because what we're doing with these young folks, we're going to be getting them the books, whether they get them from outside sources or not. We're going to be getting them books. We're going to be encouraging them by taking them to the museums and things like that, so they will be up on whatever it is that we need to be up on. I told you one of the reasons, and quite frankly, the only reason that we started this homeschooling at the particular time.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, my sister Lula, bless her soul, and my ancestor now, and gone on to glory. But she's always been very conscious and concerned about the children, her relatives, who needed homeschooling, because she understood it from the jump that we need to teach our kids
Our
before
own,
they leave.
yes.
So she's been doing this for years.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, there's two of the great nephews that one of them is away. I think he's in maybe not Iraq, but he's away in service.
Mm-hmm.
He was from homeschooling, and the other one is in Las Vegas right now.
Mm-hmm.
He went through her homeschooling.
Mm-hmm.
So when we created this homeschooling, it just had been a lapse in what we were doing. But I have to give Governor DeSantis credit for this one.
What did he do?
Oh, when he made the statement
Mm-hmm.
that when they stole us and brought us over here, they taught us skills. They are
brought it with
responsible.
us.
Yeah, please. I knew then, no, we need to restart our homeschooling back. So our young people hearing that mess, because see now that they're taking the books away from the schools and everything, they
Right.
may hear that from the
Right.
teachers.
They
You just
don't want
know.
them to know the truth.
So we figured we need to do that ourselves. So that's how the homeschooling ACAP came about. When he made that statement, I said, oh, no, you can't do that.
Right.
Then we started homeschooling up again. But I'm so glad that we have the 9 kids that come to the homeschooling.
And it's going to grow.
And it's going to grow. And what I'm advising our parents, our black parents or people whomever, it doesn't have to be a whole lot. It can be 1, 2, or 3. Just get set aside a minute or hour, however much time you need, to bring some information to your kids that they would not normally get from these schools, and
Right.
particularly now that they're taking away the books from the library and all
Right.
that. So just make sure you do that as a
And build a library for them.
Exactly.
Make tapes for them.
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot impress that.
Yeah.
Parents, make tapes for your children and put them away so that when you're gone, they could listen to these tapes.
Yes, yeah. There are
Books.
things
Put
that
these
we can
books
do
in-
now,
there's
and
things
things
that
that
we
we
could
ought to
do.
do.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask my co-host again. I just want him to give me just an idea. Well, not an idea. What school do you go to first of all, and give me a little bit of history of that. You may not know the history, but tell me where you go.
Barack Obama Green Charter High School.
Barack Obama.
Green Charter.
Yeah,
Barack
get to the mic.
Obama Green Charter High School.
Oh, okay. And where is that located?
In Plainfield.
in Plainfield. Now, from what I hear and what I know,
Yeah.
your mom is a teacher there, right? Tell me what she does there.
Yeah, she teaches math there, and my aunt is the counselor there.
Oh, she
Very
teaches.
Well, my
Yeah,
cousin.
your cousin. I think I've had her on my show. What's her name?
Ms. Griffin, Yasmin.
Yasmin. Yeah, Ms. Yasmin. Matter of fact, I should say Dr. Yasmin Griffith.
Yeah,
Because she and her mom got their PhD doctorate at the same time. Yeah, that's most amazing.
That's
So
wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful. I'm
And so
definitely
we need to
want.
have one of them on.
Exactly. Both of them, I'm going to have them on, and particularly Yasmin because she's a young lady, and she's done a whole lot of good things, and she's steady moving on. And your mom, I want to have her one these days because she's the math teacher there.
We could probably get her on next weekend too.
What happened?
We could probably get her on soon. Like
You
next
think
week.
so? Well, you go. I've been
Yeah.
trying to get her on, so I'm gonna make sure and see if you could.
She's
do
watching right now, actually.
That. Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, you're on.
Yeah.
We would love to have you share
Yeah.
and encourage these young people.
Yes. Yes. They're all
Yeah.
doing great things.
I'm
I
so
just-
proud. I'm just
yeah.
so proud of them.
And
She was talking about coming on the show before.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
So you think you can encourage her this time, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, in your what classes are you taking in school?
Like, what do you mean? Like Black History classes, kind of?
No, just any class. You're taking math or
Yeah,
algebra,
math,
whatever.
history, global current events, ELA, gym, environmental science,
Okay.
computer science,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's pretty much it.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. I'm a science woman.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
Yes, yeah. So what do you feel about what we're doing here? You think that's it's good for young people to get involved with what's going on today? And I say that because someone mentioned that all politics are local. And I know you said, I don't know if you were with your mom the other day, and they had this political event teaching. Because, see, we don't have civic. You don't have civic in your school, do you?
What's that?
Civic is how you learn about politics, how you learn about the
Oh, no, they're
ins and
taking
outs.
all of that stuff.
Yeah, they
out
took
of
that out
school.
years ago.
Yeah.
So those are the kinds of things that we will bring in places like
Exactly,
this,
that's
so
what I'm
we
saying.
can begin to re-establish
Right.
what it is to get involved. Because a lot of young folks now brings me to. I was at the library Saturday, and there was a Malcolm X program recognizing him, and one of the speakers was Larry Ham. Now, Larry Ham, I remember him when he was just a little thing because he was the youngest school board member at that time. He was 16
Mhm.
and was the youngest school board member. He's quite a young man now,
Yeah.
and he would call himself an older man. But he is still doing great things. And I said all that to say at your stage where you are now was where he was then. So it's never too young, but it's always good to catch you while you're young, then you can become interested
Exactly.
in different things. Particularly now, we need folks Trump is at the top of the game, at the top level. But the politics really is most useful at the local level because
Yes,
that's where you
grassroots.
decide a
Yeah,
whole lot
yeah.
of things. So they starting now creating and preparing young people to follow to follow that line.
Yes.
Maybe becoming involved, maybe becoming elected into politics and all that kind. Do you ever think about the learning about a little politics and becoming involved one day?
Nah, I don't know about politics. That's a lot.
Well, I know you don't know about it now, but
Politics is a great responsibility.
great responsibility.
You know.
All right. Well, I tell you one thing. This has been a really exciting
You know, every time we have a show like
It
this,
just goes,
and
right?
we're able, we get so many good subjects that are pertinent.
Yeah, very pertinent to what's going on,
To what's
particularly
going
today. Yeah, we
on.
got, and of course, I'm going to be talking to my engineer sooner or later. First of all, he has written a book. Norm, I'm talking about you now. he is doing great things at this show. I get kind of impatient sometimes when I see our people not doing the work that I think they should. But then I start thinking, I was in bed last night and it came to me. We have always managed to walk and chew gum at the same time. So while I am seriously on this part of what we should do, even back in the day, if you read history, African history, while they were creating the pyramids and creating science, there was artists, poets, and things going on too. So we were multifaceted in that we do a whole lot of things to keep us. Even in slavery, think about it.
Yeah.
While we were trying to survive slavery, we were creating music. You know, the blues, the jazz. While we were trying, so we can do all these things together.
Yes.
That's what I want to bring here. I want to bring a understanding that while I use that sometime, and I say, well, you all turn off your music just for a minute, turn off this for a minute, and concentrate on what we are talking about, the serious stuff. But no, I've changed that. Now we can do all those 3 or 4 things at one time
We can
because
do a
we've
minute.
always done that.
Yes.
So one of these days, I'm gonna ask my producer, my engineer, to come on and talk about
Yes.
what he's doing here
Yes.
at this station.
Yes.
And then that's going to be for
Yes.
a month of June. We're going to
He's
have our other
phenomenal.
podcasters like
Yes,
Terry Benjamin.
Yes.
What they're doing is just so important. What our SIT sisters are doing, Michelle and those are doing, are very important. What all of us are doing important. I want to highlight those things so we know we can chew gum and
Yes,
walk at the same time.
same
But
time.
right now, I better chew gum and get out of here.
Yes.
Okay, my villagers, I love you. Thank you all for being
Thank
with
you
us.
so much for being
And
with
just
us.
keep on keeping on.
Yes.
God bless you.